I don't know, is it? We'll find out. Are we on? Are you on? Am I on? Are you on? I can't hear you. Speak up. I can't hear you. Yep. Every time I touch it, that's trouble. Excuse me 1 second. Very thick pollen. Apologize. I apologize about that. Hi, everybody. It's Jazz Sinclair time. It's Jazz Sinclair time. It's Jesse Jazzman time. So it's Friday night. I figure I'd tell you a Friday night story. This happened to me, I don't know, a ways back. Dating this girl, picked her up from where she was working. Her shift ended at 11. She had a 2-year-old son, so we picked him up from the babysitter. It was a very, very snowy night, okay? Snow everywhere, like a lot of snow, like 2 feet of snow. And at this point, I was hanging around Northern Virginia is where it was. Yeah, around the Fairfax area. I popped down for a visit, visiting my brother. And, I don't know, ended up dating this girl. Don't know how, don't know why. Anyway, long story long, short story long actually, talk about, this is a night full of, so I pick her up at work. We go to stop by the babysitter to pick up the little 2-year-old. He strap him in the back seat. He's screaming his head off because why wouldn't he? He's 2. I don't know. She's in the front seat. I'm driving, and off we go. I was driving a Ford Escort. Yes, a Ford Escort. Little thing. Beep. And so we drive down, and I really don't know where I'm going. I'm driving. She's telling me to go down all these back streets. So I'm going down these back streets, and in the snow, on an icy road, in the dark, and thunkety 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 thunk, and literally it's about, at this point it is about 11:30, but it is no warmer than 10 degrees. I mean, it's cold out. It is cold as hell outside. So I said, oh my God, no, really? So we're on the street in the middle of nowhere, this back street, this shortcut street. Never take a shortcut in the snow if you don't know exactly where you are. So I did this stupid thing. I pull over the side of the road, I hobble over the side and hit a snowbank, you know. I leap out of the car, I go to the trunk, and the thing has a little donut. And the little jack, the little baby jack that you got to put together, except the fingers weren't working because it was like no degrees outside. There were no degrees to be had out there, and I had these wool gloves, and that's all I had, and they weren't doing anything. I mean, I couldn't feel my fingers at all. So I got the thing out. I got this stupid little jack built in the jack built, okay? And I walk over the side of it, and I get the crowbar, and I'm getting the lug nuts off the stupid wheel. And there's like 5, 6 of them. All right, I got 5 off with no problem. The 6th one was not moving. It just wasn't going anywhere. And the crowbar was a little baby crowbar, right? This thing was not equipped to get, you know, caught in the snow. So the little baby crowbar, and I'm getting as much as I can, and it's just not working. So I shoved it up against the wheel, and I stood on it, and jumped up and down. And I said, you know what? Here, come here. Hop out of the car, jump into my arms, and I'll jump up and down with both our weight on this thing. So we did. Nothing. It was not moving. Meantime, the 2-year-old in the back seat is screaming his head off. Ah! You know. And I'm just going, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know, the thing is flat, and I don't want to risk damaging the rim by driving it, but we're not staying in the middle of nowhere. So I put the lug nuts back on. No, I just put them in my pocket. I don't know. And I threw the useless jack in the trunk with the silly little, tiny little crowbar. I threw that in the trunk. And we fumbled, and I said, you know what I need? What I really need is a T-square. You know, I need something I can get leverage on. I can use 2 hands and really get down on this thing if I had like a T-square. So we come fumbling down this street, and I see lights up another side street, which means civilization and houses and stuff. So I gunk up there. Okay, so we get there. Just wanted to, I don't know, find something with a light. Maybe light would help me change this thing. So it's now midnight on Friday night by the time I hobble up to the top of this little street. And we pull into a little housing complex, and walking out of his garage, with the lights on in his garage, is a man carrying a T-bar, exactly what I need. So I said, "Hello, sir, whoa." So he let me borrow his T-bar, and he turned out to be a police officer, and he let the girl and her little boy go up and get warm by the fire while I used the T-bar to change the tire out there, which I finally got changed. It took me forever, and there was nothing in I had no feeling in my fingers, but with the T-bar, I got it done with the little baby jack and everything. I got it all done. Put on the little donut. Went up to the guy's house. He and his wife are there chatting with the young lady and her little boy, and oh, thank you very much. La 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 la. You want to come in and get warm now? I think we better be going on. It's like 1 in the morning now. Got to get rolling. So we got rolling, and we're coming down. So I came off of this back road onto the other main back road, the shortcut road, right? So there I go, and then we come out onto a main highway. Whew, thank God. So we pull out on the main highway, and I just have a donut, a frozen donut, on the front passenger side. Got 3 tires and a frozen donut. Then all of a sudden, flumpity, 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 flumpity. Oh my God, the donut was flat. So I pulled flumpity, flumpity into a gas station that's completely closed and deserted, but there is an air pump there. So I put air in it. It wasn't flat, just needed air. I said, cool. So I filled up the donut with air, and off we went in search of wherever the hell she lived. Finally got to the place she lived. Walked her to the door and everything, and why don't you come on in? And okay, so I said, okay, why don't I? So I'll just leave the car running because it's too cold. You know, I'm like frozen. I said, you know what? It's just too cold. I'm not going to bother turning it off. I'll be back out. You know, I'll just let the thing run for an hour. It'll be fine. Keep it nice and warm. I'll get back in, crank the heat, drive home. It'll be great. So I go in, da-da-da-da-do. This is the part where they cut to a different scene, you know, a G-rated scene. So anyway, back to the post-X-rated scene. I walk out of the house. This is not my house. I close the door behind me. I do not have a key. I do not live here. This is her house. I go to the car, open the door. The door, I had locked myself out of the car with the engine running. Now, this was a Ford Escort where the little door locky things, you know, the ones that stick up. Yeah, these were just little metal sticks. There was nothing to grab onto, just little metal. So I banged on the door. I'm not getting an answer. She's passed out, but I banged on the door, and eventually she answered the door. And I said, you got a hanger? So I turned her place up and down looking for a coat hanger. I found a coat hanger. I went out. You'd be okay, I'll be fine. I got a coat hanger. No good. Absolutely no good. I was at it about 3 in the morning. Now, I'm sorry, this was a Saturday night that this happened because it became Sunday morning. So I banged on the door again. She opened it again after 5 minutes. Now my job is to find a locksmith who can come out and get me out of my car, because the cops don't do this. Cops will not do this for you in Virginia. That I found out. But I call the locksmith. Of course I'm getting a phone call. Hang on. I call the locksmith. They're all closed. It's now Sunday morning at 4:30. Somehow, I'm sorry, this phone is driving me nuts. Somehow, after about a half an hour of trying, I got a locksmith on the phone at 4:30 on a Sunday morning, and I told him hey dude, I don't have any money in my pocket, but there's an ATM at the end of the street. So if you come get me out, if you come open my car door for me, you can follow me to the ATM and I'll pay you in cash, whatever you want. So he actually agreed to do this. Bless his heart. So 5 o'clock in the morning, the locksmith shows up. I've been standing outside the whole time. Give me 1 second. Freezing my butt off. Standing outside, and he shows up and gets me. It took him like 15 minutes to get me in my car, because he couldn't get the damn thing open either, but he finally did. So, you know, I'm thanking him profusely, and he's like, okay, and he's got a truck, you know, locksmith. So I get in my little car and I said, follow me down here to the bank. And I'm so cold, I can't believe it. I got the heat blasting at me. It's now Sunday morning at 5:30. Okay, so we go buffling off to the ATM machine, and over in front of the ATM, you know, it's a drive-through. At the end of it, this side of it, it says, no trucks over so-and-so feet. So he couldn't follow me. So I said, I'll tell you what. I'll leave my car here with you. I'll walk up to the ATM and get the cash. He's like, cool. So I did that. So I go to the ATM machine. I put my thing in. I'm getting my money out. And there's a guy in a hot rod honking his horn at me, laying on his horn, because he wants me to hurry up. And I'm looking at him. And it's not even light out yet. It's dark out. There is not a soul to be seen at this time of day, in a snowstorm on a Sunday morning at 5:30. And yet I'm being harassed at an ATM by somebody. That was like the perfect end. So I said, all right, you know, you. So I got my money, paid the guy, drove home. I don't tell you, the moral of that story is, never leave the house without a good solid T-bar in your trunk, or a real jack and a real tire. Don't take the shortcut. Never take a shortcut. Be safe tonight, guys. Get a designated driver, all that good stuff. You know what to do. It's French Friday. Do something very, very French, okay? Use your imaginations. Love y'all. See you later. Bye. Oh, the earth is flat, by the way. Bye.